Welcome to my channel, USA Battle Zone. Today, I'm about to tell you a story that will shake you to your core. It's not just a story about fighter jets, battlefields, or the call signs painted on steel wings. It's about loyalty, sacrifice, and the price of silence in a world where secrets can mean life or death. So sit back, strap in, and listen closely, because once you hear what Reaper 1 did, you'll never forget her name. The Pacific sky was burning red that evening. The carrier USS Valiant cut through the waves like a blade of steel, engines humming under the twilight. On the deck, a squadron of F/A-18 Super Hornets stood ready, silent predators waiting for their orders. Among them was one jet painted matte black, with a single silver streak down its tail. The call sign read, Reaper 1. No one knew her real name. Not even the crew chief who prepped her plane before every mission. To them, she was just the ghost in the cockpit, the one who never missed, never faltered, never failed. Rumors said she flew like she had no fear of death. Others said she was death itself, the kind that came silently from above, swift and merciless. But behind that helmet and visor, was a woman carrying a secret so dangerous it could destroy more than just her career, it could shake the entire Navy chain of command. And one man, Admiral Thomas Reeve, wanted that secret exposed. Reeve was a man who had built his career on politics, not bravery. He wore his medals like armor, each one earned through the courage of others. But when Reaper 1 started earning more respect from the pilots than he ever had, his pride began to rot. He'd watch her land on the carrier deck after every mission, wings slick with sea mist, engines glowing hot. The deck crew would cheer, shouting her call sign like it was legend. Reaper 1, Reaper 1. It burned him. Who was she, this ghost in his ranks? Why was she always one step ahead, always untouchable? And why, after every classified strike, did the reports cross his desk marked, top secret, eyes only, with her name sealed inside black ink? He wanted to know who Reaper 1 really was. And he wanted to own her secret. One night, Reeve called a private briefing in the war room. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with tension. Around the table sat the carrier's top brass, but the only empty chair was hers. She's too reckless, Reeve began. Too independent. I want her identity unmasked and her service record reviewed. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. Commander Hayes, her squadron leader, spoke up first. With respect, sir, Reaper 1 has the highest mission success rate in the fleet. She's a liability, Reeve snapped. A ghost with too much power. No one flies that perfect without a reason. I want to know what she's hiding. The room went silent, because everyone knew, in the world of Navy aviation, you don't dig into someone's past unless you're ready for what you'll find. Hours later, the ocean was calm, and the deck lights painted gold streaks across the waves. Reaper 1 walked across the carrier in silence. Helmet under her arm, flight suit zipped to the neck. She'd just returned from a mission deep behind enemy lines, one that never officially happened. Her boots echoed on the steel deck as she entered the ready room. A young deckhand, barely 20, looked up from his logbook. Ma'am, Admiral Reeve's been asking for you. She gave a small nod. Tell him I'll be right there. But in her eyes, behind that calm, razor-sharp gaze, something flickered. A memory, a warning. She knew this day would come. In the Admiral's quarters, the hum of the ship's engines was the only sound. Reeve stood by the window, looking out at the endless black ocean. When she entered, he didn't turn around. So, he said coldly, the famous Reaper 1 finally decides to show her face. I go where I'm ordered, sir, she replied. Her tone was neutral, but her voice carried a weight, the kind that came from years of holding everything in. He smirked. You've been busy. 14 confirmed missions, 0 losses. And yet, your file, well, it's the most classified document I've ever seen. He turned to face her, eyes narrow. Tell me, Reaper 1, who are you really? She said nothing. I'll find out, with or without your help. I have clearance now. Your record, your identity, all of it. I'll expose the truth. The Navy has no room for ghosts. For a moment, the silence was suffocating. Then she stepped forward, her shadow cutting through the light. Careful what you dig for, Admiral, she said softly. Some secrets don't belong to you. The next morning, the storm hit. Reeve ordered a full-scale data retrieval. Every encrypted file, every communication, every classified log tied to Reaper 1. But when the system decrypted the files, what came up wasn't what he expected. There were Black Ops reports, sealed under multiple clearance levels, missions signed by the Department of Defense, not the Navy. Each one linked to covert rescue operations, deep extractions, and one classified tragedy, Operation Silver Halo. Reeve frowned as he opened the file. It detailed a mission from 5 years earlier, a strike in hostile territory that went horribly wrong. The target wasn't an enemy base, it was a friendly convoy. Civilian. A botched order from someone high up. And the officer who gave that fatal command. Admiral Thomas Reeve. Reaper 1 had been there. She wasn't the pilot who dropped the bomb, she was the one who disobeyed the order. She'd broken formation, radioed a warning to the convoy, and saved hundreds of lives. But she couldn't save everyone. Among the casualties was her younger brother, a Marine on the ground, deployed under Reeve's orders. To protect the Navy's image, the operation was buried. Reeve was quietly promoted, and Reaper 1 was transferred to the Valiant, her record sealed under national security. Now, as Reeve stared at the classified file blinking on his screen, the truth hit him like a missile. She wasn't his rival, she was his reckoning. He tried to shut it down, delete the records, erase the logs. But it was too late. The ship's main server lit up with an emergency alert, unauthorized access detected. The lights flickered. The screens across the control room filled with the same words, typed in white against a black background. I warned you, Admiral. Then, a video feed appeared, cockpit footage from Operation Silver Halo. The timestamp was clear. The audio crackled through the room. Abort the strike. A female voice shouted over the comms, her voice. Civilians confirmed on site. Repeat. Abort. And then Reeve's voice. Negative. Proceed with the strike. That's an order. Seconds later, the explosion. Screams. Then silence. Every officer on the bridge turned to look at him. He was pale as ash. By the time security reached the server room, the Admiral's access codes had been wiped. His credentials, revoked. His authority, gone. On his desk, one single file was left open. A message. You can't bury the dead twice. Reaper 1. Days later, a formal inquiry was launched. The Pentagon ordered Reeve's immediate suspension pending investigation. His commendations were stripped. His name vanished from the fleet roster within a week. As for Reaper 1, she was gone. Her jet disappeared from the Valiant's hangar the night before the inquiry began. Some said she flew into the storm and never came back. Others claimed she was reassigned to a Black Ops unit overseas, her name erased from every database. But the crew of the Valiant, they remembered. On quiet nights, when the ocean was calm and the deck lights flickered against the waves, the pilots swore they could still hear the echo of a jet engine, the whisper of a ghost slicing through the clouds. They said it was her. Watching. Protecting them still. Reaper 1. Months later, Reeve sat alone in his office, now stripped of rank, uniform folded on the chair. He hadn't spoken to anyone since the hearing. On his desk lay a letter, unsigned, no return address. He hesitated, then opened it. Inside was a single photo. A young Marine in uniform, standing beside a fighter pilot, both smiling in the sunlight. On the back, written in neat handwriting, were 6 words. You killed him. I forgave you. Tears welled in his eyes. His hands shook. He knew who it was. The Marine, her brother. The pilot. Reaper 1 before the storm, before the secrecy, before the world broke her. He looked out the window, the ocean stretching endlessly beyond. For the first time in his life, he felt something he couldn't command, couldn't silence, guilt. Real, crushing guilt. Years later, whispers of Reaper 1 resurfaced. In a small airbase in the desert, a black jet was spotted landing without clearance. The crew swore the pilot never removed her helmet, never spoke, never showed her face. But on the side of the plane, faint but still visible under the dust and sand, was a silver streak. The same one from the Valiant. When they asked the base commander who she was, he just smiled. She doesn't exist, he said quietly. But if you ever need an angel in the sky, she'll find you. And so, the legend lived on. They said she became more than a pilot, she became a symbol. A reminder that sometimes the strongest warriors are the ones who carry the heaviest secrets. That sometimes silence isn't weakness, it's sacrifice. And that even when the system breaks, the truth still flies. Somewhere out there, across the night sky, she's still flying. Alone, invisible, unstoppable. The ghost with the call sign Reaper 1. And that's the story the Navy never wanted you to hear. The story of the pilot who exposed corruption not with words, but with truth. If this story moved you, if it made you think about what it means to fight for honor, not recognition, then remember this. Heroes don't always wear medals. Sometimes they wear scars. Sometimes they fly. Thank you for watching. This is USA Battle Zone, and you've just witnessed the untold story of Reaper 1, the ghost who changed everything. If you believe in truth, in sacrifice, and in the power of one voice to make a difference, then do me a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe, because out there, somewhere in the sky, she's still watching. Reaper 1, signing off.